Hey, what's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Alex Esmoy here, aka the Data Doctor, back with more Tableau Thursdays. And we are looking at another Workout Wednesday. Again, if you've not checked out Workout Wednesdays, I highly suggest it. It's a great site that has some really interesting challenges in here. And this week, we're going to be tackling the Jittered Bar Chart. It's quite interesting. It's definitely going to be on the more challenging side, I think. I'm thinking about it from there's definitely going to be a random index over here to get that kind of jitter look. But what's more curious is this total over here and this kind of aggregation to get all these points over here. And what I'm thinking as I'm looking over here is just, it's probably going to be something like a running sum total in order to get that. I don't know. We'll have to play around with it. So that's the fun part about these challenges is you just don't know exactly what you're going to get. We've got this survey data. I've already downloaded, so we're going to be able to dive right in. I'm going to go ahead and put this page to the side and grab our Tableau window over here. So let's go ahead and connect to our data source. It's, I believe it's Excel file. And we'll go ahead and grab that random survey data. So let's see what we've got over here. We've got our sheet. All right, everything's already in here. And it looks like we've got most everything in here. We've got our ID. So that's going to be interesting because we're going to be able to count that and use that as our distinct response. So let's just go ahead and go to our sheets. Want to come back over here. We've got design, pricing, and quality. So we can see right off the bat that there are different categories of questions over here. So I'm going to take a stab at grouping these. Let's see if that... Let's think about this for a second. We have all these. Okay, so then each one of these is a question. That's interesting. And then the responses are the values. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is aligned with that. Okay, that's fine. That we can handle different ways. But let's think about how to handle this, right? So we don't want to do it like that. We want to do calculated field. We'll say count distinct. And we'll just say this is our count. Okay, so we'll grab that count and we'll drop that over here. And now we can start to see this. If we put this over here and flip it, we can start to see how this is set up. And we can see the distribution of those values. But now what we really want to do is get that jitter effect, right? So in our columns, what we can do is come over here and say random. And that will give us this kind of chart. And then let's go ahead and disaggregate. So that's going to be our values over here. Now, I'm wondering if we can do a running total. And so that seems like it's giving us the effect that we're looking for, that running total. But let's make sure that it's doing it paint across. There we go. So that looks like what they did on their calculation, and so I think we've got that part. What I don't know is how did they group these together? So that's maybe the more interesting part is how did they actually do the grouping? So it's a single it's a single design, or a single worksheet, I should say. And there's a dashboard over here, one sheet showing a number of response per questions, per category, per answer. Okay, so so this is interesting. So we'll just put everything into, well, no, actually we can't just do everything into one thing. We're going to have to pivot this data. So that's interesting, right? So we grab this and pivot. And what is this field right here? We must have missed something. All right, let's try this one more time. So we're going to grab that. We're going to pivot. Whoops. We're going to pivot this data. All right, I want to make sure I'm not missing any columns. So grab all of this and then pivot. Okay, so I'm not sure what's happening over here, but always the case when you're trying to do a live stream that something will break. So just remember that. I don't know exactly what that is right there, but that's okay. Because now with everything, all the field names pivoted, I should be able to create a calculated field off of this. So I'm going to do a split, and we don't need this, so we'll just delete this calculation. And we really just want this. Okay, so this category over here is going to be where we get that. Okay, so now with this new data set transformed, okay, that's where that was coming from. Come back to our data source. Okay, let's make sure we do everything kosher. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to remove this. Let's go all the way back before it was pivoted. Okay. Grab this, remove that. That's fine. We don't need to worry about that right now. Let's try this again. We should be able to come over here, pivot all of our data. Now we've got this. We're going to go ahead and split this, delete the tail portion, and just keep that grouping. And then come back over here for a second. And now we've got a lot more counts. So our count is our distinct ID. And so that's going to be grouped, but we'll call this, we'll rename this and say category. And so now we grab this and put it in our rows, we'll see that. And then our values is going to be the different types of responses, right? So we'll rename this responses. And so we can drag this over here. And so we've got strong agree, neutral, strong disagree. And now this is starting to look like our charts over here, right? And in fact, they've got it reversed. So we'll move this over here. And then we'll reverse this over here, move agree onto this side. So we got design, pricing, quality over here. And then what we're going to do is update these two circles. Let's decrease the size quite a bit. Just a little bit bigger so that we can actually see them. And so that's starting to come together, right? And then they've got this over here formatted a little bit differently. So we're going to call this total respondents. And then we're also going to adjust the scale of this value. So we can come over here and format that. Is it under our axis? I'm thinking there's the intervals. I think I had it right, the format over here. So come back over here to format, axis, custom numbers, but they've got 1,000. So 0 decimal places at 1,000. Okay, so now this is starting to come together, right? And then the other thing that we're seeing is the color is based off the category. So we can grab that, move that over here. Come over here and change this to the purple. We got the blue, and we need the green. And I'm not going to try to match the colors exactly perfect because I don't know, not my strength and forte right there. So we've got that. We can hide this row label over here. We've got the designs. We've got that. What we can also do, we'll go ahead and hide this header down here, is we can add our numbers, right, for our responses as well. So we'll say, so that is interesting. Let's see, how can we handle that? So within our responses, we'll create another calculate field, and we'll just say response values if strongly disagree in one. We want to use our case statement, actually. So case is going to be for responses. And when strongly disagree, then 1. When disagree, then 2. When neutral, then 3. Agree will be 4. Strongly agree, then 5. End. And so that should give us all of the response values as we've got them laid out over here. And it should line up 1-to-1 over there. So let's go ahead and drop these in and see how this looks. It's going to definitely put it down as a value first, so we'll change it to discrete and just change the order. And now you can see that it shows up right there, just as expected. We can hide that label, and now these values show up properly. This looks pretty good. The only other thing we'll do is we'll come in here for our format. We'll take a look at adjusting our grid lines, remove some of that. We'll remove our 0 lines. And now we can see that's starting to look really, really good. I think that is about it from this. Of course, they have maybe a little bit of font sizing that's a little bit different, but I don't think that's a deal breaker. So I feel good about that. Let's go ahead and take a look at our final dashboard sizing. So we'll go ahead and create our dashboard. That's going to be 700 by 700. Nice little square right here. I didn't name this. We'll call this jitter. And we'll call this Jittered Bars Chart. We'll drop that in here. We'll go ahead and remove this. Hide our title. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. We'll go ahead and add in our header text up here. Let's see. Week 7. We'll call it Let's Jitter Bar. And we'll say, how are the spawn scoring for each question distributed? So we can center this, make these a little bit bigger. We'll put that as 12. We'll bold this and darken it. And we'll make this semi-bold. I think that's what I'm looking at right there. Maybe not. Might just be a little bit darker though. So let's make this just a shade darker, and we'll see how this looks with a bold. Yeah, I think that feels pretty good right there. So drop this up here. We've got our little header up top. I think that feels pretty good. This font is okay, so it's just we've got a different length. And then down below, we'll add our little bit of footer. So we'll go ahead and drop our another text box down here. We'll say workout 2023 week 7 data take survey challenge. We're not brown. Recreated by Alex S. Moy. So there we go. We've got this in here, and of course we'll add our little highlight over here. Get our color in, and bada bing, bada boom. I think we've done it again. So there we go. Let's center that. I just want to do that, make that look nice and good. And just like that, we were able to recreate this Jittered Bar Workout Wednesday challenge. So there you go. I think it looks pretty good. It's we could probably make this dots a little bit smaller. Not a big deal. Very simple adjustment. But all in all, looks like we did a fair job reproducing this. And so hopefully you guys learned something from this. Hopefully you guys are able to use this for your own visualizations. This one's a fun one, a little bit different, kind of interesting. That running total was a good way to kind of handle some of that stuff as well. So that's it for me today. Oh, I just realized I never made it full screen, but you guys can see it now. I will share the final results on Tableau Public, and you guys are able to check that out for yourselves. Please do, drop me comments down below of what you like, what you don't like, and as always, please like and subscribe for more videos on Tableau and practical data science. That's my time for today. Take care.